All right, so we're back after this will be week 3, and you should have some grades hopefully back from your Unit 1 exam. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know of any questions that you might have. Okay, this video is hopefully going to provide you some pieces that you'll want to take a look at in the reading this week and see things that I'm looking for. One, I'm really looking for your understanding of a history of the revolution, leading up to the revolution and what happens there. Now, granted, we know about the Boston Massacre, we know about the Boston Tea Party, we know about some of these things. I want you to flesh out some of those things that are happening underneath, some of those underlying pieces. That's really what I'm looking for. You can definitely use those things as maybe jumping off points or as context, but what I'm looking for are what are some of the underlying pieces instead of just explaining the Boston Tea Party to me, which we all have probably read ad nauseum, okay? So ad nauseum. What I'm looking for, though, is this idea of what is going on and what's leading to revolution, who are the major players, and why is that important to the country? Why is it significant as you look through the reading this week? Okay, that is the chapter 5 that we're looking at. Chapter 6 is a revolution within. I want you to understand that this is not something that that the country came to lightly. And as we work through some of these things, I think in our time period, we like to look at that all of these revolutionaries, which they all were, first were not traitors. We like to think of them as these liberators, and they were, but we also need to understand that to the English crown, they were traitors, and they were fighting, they were revolting against what they believed was tyranny. And so I need you to understand that these are complex players within the revolution, but as we start to see, they start to fight amongst themselves about now what government do we want to play a part in this new fledgling country, okay, or in this nation. So this revolution within, maybe some of the actors, what's going on during this time, and give a sense, just be looking for some of the arguments, provide some context behind those arguments, but some of the things that are going on. And then a founding of a nation. This is going to be chapter 6. This chapter, I think, is excellent for us to understand at this point in time. And I've seen a couple of responses over the last couple of weeks really taking history and overlapping it onto our current political system or our current nation. And I think that's an excellent way to understand these things. So as you read through chapter, what would that be, 5, 6, 7, chapter 7, Founding a Nation, make sure that you look at some of the things some of the values and ideals that our country was set on and how those play today, okay? How those correlate with things that are going on today. And I'm not trying to suggest one way or another. I'm just saying, just want you to be able to see some of those actions that were taking place, some of the things that our founding fathers believed in and what they valued. Now, that doesn't always mean that they were right or that they were wrong. It's more that they're complex people, right? When we have a discussion, especially when students, or more importantly, when community members come to me and want to discuss the history of our founding fathers, we generally have this idea of them being these great men, and they are great men, and I'm not suggesting that they are not. I'm just suggesting that they are complex people. And so when we have this discussion about our founding fathers owning slaves, for instance, does that mean that they aren't great men? That's not what it means. It just means that they're complex, right? It's more nuanced than what we like to think of it, and that we need to find that gray area in between. It's not as black and white as we like to think it is. And hopefully this chapter will help you with that as you take a look at some of the primary source documents this week and next week, and be able to flesh out what it is that you're seeing, that this nuanced view of our country might not be as black and white as maybe you thought it was, or maybe it's exactly what you thought it was, And I hope that that comes out in the discussions over this week and next week. Next week, I will also post a study guide video. That study guide will be for the Unit 2 exam, or another way to put that, for the midterm. Yep, we're all ready to the midterm, and I hope that you're able to find some pieces that you can interject into your discussion pieces, but then also into the exam. As we've already taken Unit 1 exam, you will know that the Unit 2 exam will be exactly the same, and you should be using your discussion pieces to flesh out some of that information that maybe you weren't certain with, maybe you're not fully understanding, and as you use the discussion board with your classmates, you can come to a fuller understanding of what's going on. So I hope you're able to do that. Let me know what I can do to help you. As usual, I'm available via email, phone, or you can stop by my office in Taylor 262. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck, and I will talk to you next week.